but they use our own weapons against us. It's against Russian Federation law to remove Maxinka from country because it's considered a national symbol or heirloom. But Finns have little sentimentality regarding Soviet weapons, so this also had SR stamping and comes to America courtesy of Finland. Also, the German generals, they have taken most of Europe, part of North Africa, but they are afraid to move against Soviet Union because they're knowing from their studies what happened to Napoleon's army in Russia. But Hitler said to them, look what is happening today to powerful Red Army in tiny Finland. All we must do to SSR is kick in front door. Entire rotten structure come crashing down. But eventually, there are many more Soviet citizens than Finns. We returned to Finland in January 1940 in huge numbers. We break through Mannerheim defensive line on Karelian Isthmus, and we force Finns to cede to us 200-mile depth of territory, which they are not appreciating. This is Puko, traditional Finnish knife. Almost every Finnish soldier, even though he's not military issue, he would carry his own Puko. This soldier no longer is needed. We have issues with defense. We force Finland to cede to us 200-mile depth of territory for which now Stalin is paying them absolutely nothing. They form an alliance of convenience with Nazi Germany defense. They participate in the invasion of Soviet Union on 22 June 1941, and in particular in the 900-day siege of Leningrad. Leningrad, or St. Petersburg, even today remains the northernmost city in the world with population greater than 1 million people. It is on same latitude as Anchorage, Alaska. Living in Leningrad in 1941 are 2.4 million people, including 400,000 children. Unlike in Stalingrad, civil population cannot be evacuated. So they are surrounded, all of these people, 2.4 million. And what is going to happen is a terrible human tragedy. It began on 30 August 1941. By middle September, end of September, Russian people in Leningrad are saying, you know, I have a dog or a cat. It is eating my food. Ultimately, it is calories. So by end of September, no dogs or cats remaining in besieged Leningrad. By October, people are trapping birds. By end of October, people are trapping rats. And what is coming to Leningrad is the coldest winter in 75 years. It will be 20 and 30 degrees below zero Fahrenheit in 3 hours murky daylight only. And except for several military and civil buildings, civil administration buildings in city, there is no electricity, no light, no heat, no running water, no city transport, and as I said, increasingly no food. Leningrad burned their books and furniture to keep warm. By early November, dipstick is culinary delicacy. Briefcase becomes stew. By December 1941, Leningraders are pulling the wallpaper down from their walls in their frozen up dark apartments to lick the animal-based glue from walls. When your first family member dies, which is inevitable, someone is going to die, you will probably try to do the right thing for them. You wrap them in bed sheets. There is no city transport, and we certainly don't own private automobiles in Soviet Union. So you must pull them on children's sled, many kilometers maybe, to cemetery where Red Army troops are blowing holes in frozen earth for bodies. If you go to Siege Museum of Leningrad today in St. Petersburg, the central reservation in museum is children's sled because it's a symbol of Leningrad during this terrible period. By mid-December, the Red Army troops notice in many cases fatty portions of body already have been removed with sharp objects, usually done by mothers who are desperate to feed their starving children. It's under such conditions that this weapon is made. This is Pistolet Pulemyot Sutaeva, or PPS-43. No other military firearm is so closely associated with specific city as this weapon. This weapon is designed and built in Leningrad during siege. It's made from stamping, spot buildings, and rivets. No wood remaining in Leningrad. It can be assembled in 4 to 6 hours by unskilled labor in converted automobile repair shop. But many firearms experts, international, say this is the best submachine gun design of any country in World War II. You can go to American paratroop camp, for example, you will see many Thompson machine gun. Thompson is good weapon, but it takes many hours of skilled labor to make using scarce strategic metals. It's very heavy Thompson, 12 pounds. It is not compact. This is cheaply and easily made. It's lightweight for a machine pistol. It's compact. It is made to loose tolerances. It shakes. You can get in it some dirt, some ice will still fire. Not like American M16, for example. But you sacrifice a little bit accuracy. But this is a weapon designed to shoot pistol caliber ammunition on fully automatic only. You do not have to teach ignorant peasant or factory worker how to shoot straight like with rifle. You must close, however, within 200 meters of fascists, and you spray. If not party member, perhaps you pray. I have seen videos of Senator John McCain when he is shot down over People's Republic of Vietnam. He is given tour of city of Hanoi by NVA troops. They are carrying the PPS machine pistol. Stalin, he is not liking Leningrad. Leningrad was built beginning 1703 under orders of Tsar Peter the Great. It is built on the very northwest edge of Russia using French and Italian architects. It is designed to bring Western ideas into Russia. Stalin, he's not a big fan of Western ideas. He's distrustful of Leningrad. He, after the war, he closed Siege Museum of Leningrad, Stalin. He have the curator sent to Gulag, and he also take the PPS, which is symbol of Leningrad during the siege. He sent it to Gulag, except this Gulag is North Korea, North Vietnam, People's Republic of China. This was topic a little bit. This is trench periscope. You can use it in trench warfare, like in front of Leningrad, but in city fighting, like in Stalingrad, you can also look above a window, around corner, maybe keep your head a little longer. This is not standard issues for snipers and scouts mostly. Artillery observers. This piece of paper would be dropped behind our lines by the fascists with airplane or hollow artillery shell. It shows two different choices if you are a Red Army man. You can remain loyal to regime, fight for Stalin, and you will lie dead, forgotten on dark battlefield. Or you can choose to live happy in the sunlight with your wife outside your peasant izba under German dominion. It's a Krasnoarmeец, выбирай смерть или жизнь. Red Army man choose death or life. On reverse, it say many things. Maybe Stalin is not best leader in the world after all. Maybe Bolshevism is not way to be going. This is how to surrender to us and receive good treatments. The Nazis, they believe that Slavic peoples, we are not 100% human beings, and if you are captured by the Germans, you will probably die in captivity. But this is little understood at the beginning of the war. The Germans know if you are a Red Army man and you see one of these coming down to the air, and you look at it and say, well, you know, I will hold on to this, maybe it will come in handy later, and you place in your pocket. If you are seen and reported to one of our many political officers or political workers, you will be arrested and placed into Strafbat penal battalion by Smersh, and you will probably die somewhere in between the lines on suicide mission. So the Germans say, you are not needing this scrap of paper to surrender. All you must do is walk to our lines, hands in air, and cry out in Russian, "Shtiki v zemlyu," bayonets to earth. It means I surrender. Because the Nazis think we Slavic people are a little bit slow, they give you drawing of bayonets stuck into the air to help us. Do you remember it? They think of everything, these Germans, almost. I take this photo in St. Petersburg in 2001 for special reason. This stencil ink is only one remaining in city, but during the siege of Leningrad, there would be many thousands of these stencils on the walls of the city. Each stencil is about as big as this notebook. It's «Граждане, при обстреле эта сторона улицы наиболее опасна. Citizens, during artillery barrage, this side of street is most dangerous. Because of location of German artillery to southwest of city and arcing of their shells, in addition to starve, freeze to death, for 900 days you must carefully choose which side of road upon which to be walking. This photo is of Tanya Savicheva. She is an 11-year-old girl living house 13, second line, Vasilevsky Island, city of Leningrad, during this terrible siege period with extended family, except for father and brother who are dead or alive, who knows somewhere in Red Army, and older sister who is fortunate to be outside of the siege ring. Siege is lifted in January 1944. In the spring, Tanya's sister returned to Leningrad and she entered an apartment. She expected to find maybe a room full of dead people, not know who is who because space is eaten away by rats. This is common occurrence. But instead, no one is alive or dead in apartment. But Tanya has left behind a series of notations. So her sister read it. First note says, Zhenya died 28 December, 12 o'clock morning, 1941. Next note is saying, Babushka, she died 25 January, 42. Then Lyuka died 17 March, 42. Uncle Vasya, 13 April. Uncle Lyosha, 10 May. Mama, 13 May, 7:30 morning, 1942. Savichevs died, all died. Last note say only Tanya remains, but Tanya not remain. So she is believed to have joined the estimated 1 million civilian citizens of Leningrad, men, women, and children who freeze, starve, or shell to death in what is greatest human tragedy to happen to major city since time of Black Death. Not nearly so many people die in Dresden or Hiroshima as die very slowly inside besieged Leningrad. However, this is a little bit difficult to see from here, but this little black area is besieged Leningrad. These areas in red are held by Red Army, areas in white are held by Germans and Finns to northwest. But here, so they are surrounded Leningrad on land. But here is the southern shore of Lake Ladoga, whose deepest, largest lake in Europe. You probably never heard of Ladoga because it's in an obscure location. The coldest winter in 75 years, and then determined by 18 November that there is 10 inches of ice frozen on Lake Ladoga, which is considered minimal to support loaded truck. So is opened across the frozen Lake Ladoga Military Highway 101. Is also called unofficially the Ice Road or Road of Life. Brought into besieged Leningrad are soldiers, ammunitions, little bit food. Brought out are refugees. They are so desperate to begin Ice Road. Ice not so good the first week, and 40 trucks fall through ice. Additionally, German aircraft from Finland are attacking Ice Road. There are anti-aircraft positions on Ice Road. Records prove, Records prove that Tanya Savicheva did not die in Leningrad. She is evacuated across ice road to city of Gorky in the east, in the rear, where there is light and the electricity, food, warmth. However, Russian stories seldom have entirely happy ending, and before the freezing of the river Neva in the fountains and canals of Leningrad, people die already. They are dying. They fall into these bodies, or they are simply thrown into these bodies of water. Then the winter and the freeze come. Leningrad does not have running water. They make holes in ice, but water is tasting, a little bit like dead people. And Tanya had contracted inside Leningrad dysentery, and she perished of this disease in Gorky in summer 1943, where Tanya joined the estimated 27 million Soviet citizens, mostly civilian, who perished in World War II. Half of everyone who is killed in World War II is a citizen of USSR, including the Pacific Theater. For every American serviceman who is killed in World War II, 70 Soviet citizens, mostly civilian, perish. Additionally, the war is fought on our own Western developed lands. By the time the seesaw battles are over with the Germans, there is little left in the way of schools, hospitals, factories, farm animals, farms, everything destroyed. It takes many years to replace human population and destroyed critical infrastructure. And we were not a rich nation before this invasion. These are drawings made by school children trapped inside Leningrad siege ring. 9-year-old boy show battle over his head between Red Banner Air Force and fascist Luftwaffe. 7-year-old boy draw tank battle just outside the gates of Leningrad. At the early siege, drawing made of school children visiting wounded Red Army troops in hospital. Later this kind of thing became impossible. 9-year-old boy shows snow battle in winter, and lastly, in January of 1944, after 900 days of siege, this 7-year-old girl is drawing fireworks display to commemorate lifting of siege of Leningrad. Americans, British, Canadians, they are liking Russians in World War II because we are doing something they never get around to be doing with too much seriousness, which is killing German soldiers. We are fighting the Germans every day on a front almost 2,000 miles long. For 3.5 years we are battling the fascists on the ground, killing them. We lose, 27 million in process, but we killed 70 to 80% of all the German soldiers who are killed in World War II. Americans, British, they are flying over German cities, bombing. They are killing civilians. It's not reason for bombing. Civilians are collateral damages. They are destroying critical German infrastructure, which is very important to war effort. So the Americans, at great expense and the risk, they build in great industrial achievement, they built 2,800 Liberty ships. There is one still operational in Baltimore. They have a stand inside the hangar. If you're interested in going on cruise, you might see me again. You do. It's great risk because to go from North Atlantic into our Arctic ports of Murmansk and Arkhangelsk, you have to go through German U-boats and German surface ships and aircraft. So many merchant sailors of America, Canada, Britain are killed in this effort. But they bring to Soviet Union many tens of thousands Studebaker truck. That is the best gift because it mobilized the foot-bound Red Army. Also Jeep, Sherman tank, Airacobra airplane, Americans build, not like, give to Soviet Union. We use, they send boots, these are American boots, but also gift of spam. Spasiba to us is culinary delicacy. It still have today in state of Hawaii cult following spam because they are obligated to eat a lot of spam on these islands in World War II. They have developed many recipes. You can go to 7-Eleven in Hawaii and we'll be waiting for you there already a hot spam sandwich. Let's show you quickly. These photos I also take in St. Petersburg, Leningrad in 2001. This is Piskarovskaya Memorialное кладбище, Piskarovsky Memorial Cemetery in northeast of city. Buried here in mass graves 500,000 Leningraders, half of those who are perished in this siege. They are in mass graves. This is only a small part of overall cemetery. In front is eternal flame. It's broken a little bit, but we not have much money in Russia in 2001 for fixing eternal flames. At the end of this walkway is a wall, and on this wall are written words of Olga Vergos, who is Leningrad poetess who survived the siege. She says, "Здесь лежат Leningradцы." Here lie the people of Leningrad. Here lie the citizens, men, women, and children, and beside them soldiers of Red Army, because about 300,000 soldiers died.